Alright, welcome to this walkthrough for reality capture, which will show you how to process video footage to 3D models, all in the browser with 3D Gaussian splats. So I previously made a tutorial which showed people how to process Gaussian splats with completely free open source software, and I've received very good feedback from that. Everybody was very glad to find out that they could do that for free, but by using 3 different software. So from that, I've decided to build Volugraph. Volugraph is an all-in browser web application that will allow you, as you can see, this is the landing page, to upload your video footage, process it within an hour or an hour and a half, depending on the resolution and the duration of the footage, from your drone, DSLR, or your mobile phone. Whatever you use to capture is fine. And then you can edit, annotate, and do anything with it, place it on a map, attach any data to it, all in the browser. When you log in, you'll be greeted with this lovely studio page. What you first want to do is that firstly you will have no projects, so all you have to do is create a new project with this button here, or add a project with this placeholder here. You can name it, click proceed, and that will lead you straight into the project folder. So simple as that. It just helps you organize stuff. You have to get into a project folder in order to create a capture. Bring out your SD card, and then all you have to do is click this capture, but now you just click standard video. So I'm now adding a small file. We'll see what happens. You can upload .mp4, .movs, .mk4 files as long as it's a video file under 5 GB. So once it's uploading, it will start to queue, wait for a cloud GPU to start taking up the job. And this will take about anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on if it's 1080p or if it's 4K footage, or depending on how long your footage is. So anywhere from 30 seconds can take 20 minutes. Anywhere from a 10-minute video file can take up to 2 hours. So I've never personally had it for 2 hours, but this should be fine. Each project folder will have 3 different tabs. You'll have the gallery view, which you can go into row view or go back into grid view. Then you'll have the timeline, which will show you a canvas here that you can display multiple captures in chronological order. Lastly and lastly, a map tab. So this is a completed capture. Once the capture is complete, you would automatically come to this page. As you can see, you can share it. You can create a private link, add a password, embed it on your personal website with HTML, and then you can copy this link and share it to anybody. When you generate a private link, create a password like this, click generate, copy that, and that person will see the password protected link just like so. And you have your capture here. It's completely private to only the people that know the password, and then they can download it as well. So back to the capture page. Now you might be wondering, where do you get all these coordinates from and the annotations? You click this enter workspace. Now in enter workspace, click map plot alignment. And what that does is I've completed those steps, but the first step is to add a ground plane. So you can move this gizmo here, and you can just guess and eyeball where the ground is. Complete that, and you'll be led on to step 2, which is very simple. If your goal is to place this on the map tab, add a ground control point. So GCP stands for ground control point. You can zoom in if you know where your capture is, click a prominent, easily identifiable, usually a wall, a corner, or something that's sharp in color. So I'm going to choose this corner here. Okay, that crosshair is now yellow, so that means we still have to match it onto the actual map. So I can visually see that this corner is this corner here. Click there with this crosshair and match the 3rd ground control point here. This is assuming, so you do that for all 3 ground control points. Click confirm. As you can see, it attributes a very accurate and precise coordinate there and automatically overlays the map. And that's, as long as it's less than a meter, you should be good. So that's root mean square residual. You have under 1 meter there. Only for those of you who want to place it on a map. And I'll move on to annotations very quickly. Save alignment. So you can see you get a toast here. And what that does is that not only does it give scale and orientation information, but it gives location information so you can place on the map. So you can see, we know that this is north, and there are the compass rows here. when we rotate the viewer. Most of you might get an output which has loads of splats around your main subject. So to solve that, you can use the brush, but a more convenient method is to click the sphere selector, decrease the radius, just so you select your subject. Select and then invert. And what you can do is just click any backspace or delete button, and you'll have this very clean and nice selection of your subject. Next, you can add annotation. So just simple annotation toolbar is on the left. So as you can see, you want to add something like a garden here. And if you want to add descriptions, you can do that. Attach an image, and you can add a priority just in case you want to let any collaborators know what priority you want this annotation to be. So this could be used for many use cases here, like film scouting or any location serving. So once that's done, you can close this and that will stick onto it. And for annotations, you have a list here to see every single one that you've placed. And then you can download as a CSV file, which is very useful for delivering it to your potential team members. Next, you have this polygon tool that you can draw onto your 3D reconstruction, which you can mark areas. So you'll double click and then deselect the polygon tool. You can see that's a bit wonky here, but let's adjust that. Yeah, there we go. Let's say you want to select this front garden area, and then you can rename this polygon to, like, say, terrace. And now it won't show the title, but when you click on it, you'll have the name there. And you can add additional coordinates. So this automatically interpolates the existing 3 coordinates you have and enters the information here, so you won't need to change that. And then you have the scale and rotation here, and then you can save once you've done that scale and rotation. So what this does is it encodes the physical changes you made, the transformation changes onto the POI, and then you will have an SOG compressed version for viewing. So you won't have to load a 200 megabyte file onto the viewer in your browser. So it's optimizing it. It'll take anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes, depending on how complex your capture is. All right, after using the transform tools on the bottom toolbar, you can use the measurement tool, which brings up this box here. Place points, 2 points, and measure the distance between them on the capture. So this is usually helpful after you've done map alignment, because that sets real-world coordinates and real-world measurements in meters as a default. So you can change this. Now it's in millimeters, which won't be very useful. You can choose meters there. So if you place the measurement points before map alignment, you will have to set a manual measurement. So if you do know the measurement, what you have to do is set it here, scale up and down, choose your unit, and apply reference scale. But usually once you've done map alignment, this will apply the real distances that you've used, interpolated by the coordinates. So that's the measurement tool done. So lastly, if the thumbnail on the capture box is black, or it's missing, or it doesn't look nice, you can always choose any angle here that you want. So I'd say probably this is the best looking angle. Place your camera here, click this photo icon, set the view as thumbnail, and that's done. So you only need to save when you've done physical transformations to the capture, what I need to say. If you've done any polygons or any annotations that don't physically change the Gaussian Splat, all you have to do is exit and your thing will be saved, even after refreshing and everything. There's a polygon here. So we've got priority colors. So depending on what priority you put, the highlight will be different. So very cool here. You have your annotation slideshow feature here, so you can go through them, so you don't have to find and manually search for all of them all around your scene. Now we've geospatially aligned the capture. What you can do is click on this capture here. Photoreal tends to be quite heavy in the browser. All of these captures with the status align map and editor plot, what you have to do is go into the 3D workspace and align that. But any capture that's ready to plot will have a green plot button here. So as you can see, it will look like this. All you need to do is click plot, and there you go. So this is so accurate. I just eyeballed the visual pointers and matched them to the map, And as you can see, this almost perfectly lines up with this pier over here, which is very, very nice. And then you can see, where it actually is in your surroundings, what roads lead to it, if anything, all those uses. And photoreal, you've got a mesh already there from Google Earth. Okay, so timeline tab, very simple. Go previous, next capture, you can add a before image. That'll open your file browser, and then after image, just in case you want to see a before and after. You can click version types, coordinates, or enter a custom one. And custom, you'd open GIS data, and then modified data, and add your label here. I went crazy here, and this is Tower Bridge. Then you would have day 2 here. If you are the owner, you can either add a viewer or an editor. So what you can do here is add a viewer and role as updated. You can revoke their permissions, and most importantly, you type their email in here. They will create a free Volugraph account, and then you can add them as one of these roles. And that would only invite them to this specific project. So as you can see, some don't, but some have this team tag here, which means that this project is shared successfully with whoever you invited. And this project is private. And that's about it. We'll be adding a lot more features in the future. Just go crazy. This is Mark 1. And you can definitely find this video also on Learn. I'll be making a guide here. So thank you very much. Hope this is useful, and give us some feedback whenever you can. Thank you and enjoy.